Welcome to the Trade Wars Podcast Show. I'm your host, Sharky. Got a good one for you today. Do you know today is your anniversary? Anniversary. Yes, sir. It's bigger than welfare, man. Yeah, man, it's the 60th anniversary of MEDICAID. 60th anniversary of welfare, man. They gave you freedom before they gave you health care. And that's so. Gave you freedom before they gave you health care. Yeah, man, we'll cook outside. Man, black party here. That's the 60th anniversary of welfare. I should be dancing on the street. Man, Juneteenth ain't got nothing on this. Tell you. They gave you freedom before they gave you health care. Mm-hmm. Then what Obama did. He said, give it to everybody. Everybody get it. So let everybody get it. Y'all voted for it. You signed up for that. Y'all should be dancing on the street. Do you know what the day is? It's the 60th anniversary of welfare. Yes, sir. One generation removed. One generation removed. Ain't nobody dancing in the streets and no black party, no cookout, no nothing. No. Man, I got a good joke for you. Let's jump into it, man. Let's jump into it. Yes, sir. Right back at you, man. Right back at you. Right back at you. Yes, sir. Right back at you. Your favorite Maryland Department Buying Respect. 0252. Right back at you. And like I always said, it's a sharp bait. And when it's in the water, it's in the water. Going on in Maryland.
In our waste, a new 20-year lease for the Maryland Department of the Environment. Not only, but the rental agreement includes expensive renovations that, according to audit, may be unnecessary and offer little return on that investment. Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor breaks down that report, looking out for your tax dollars.
To put it simply, state auditors say that the department's lease is too long and it costs too much, especially at a time the state is struggling financially.
Montgomery Park, a converted warehouse building in West Baltimore. For more than 20 years, Maryland's Department of the Environment headquartered here, and they're not leaving for at least 20 more. The state recently locking into a 2-decade-long lease, costing $167 million. Helping seal the deal, a $1 million renovation agreement with the building's owner. A lengthy commitment state auditors are calling short-sighted. In a new report, auditors questioning if the renovations were necessary and the cost reasonable. With this lease, rent rises by 3.45% annually, starting at $5.9 million this year to $11.3 million by the final year. Over 20 years, that means the landlord will pocket an additional $12.6 million compared to the prior lease. And compared to other state leases, auditors find most only last 10 years and all have less than 3% rate hikes.
This is going to cost the state, which means taxpayers, a lot of money.
Taxpayer advocate David Williams weighing in.
This deal doesn't make sense. You don't remodel a space that you are leasing because you don't own that space.
Defending the lease, the state's Department of General Services arguing the renovations are overdue, helped avoid costly relocation and parking expenses. But Williams questions the timing.
Right now, the state needs flexibility.
Facing significant budget challenges, the state in a year-long hiring freeze and offering voluntary buyouts.
A lot can happen over 20 years. People can leave this agency, the agency can get smaller, but they're going to have this space for 20 years regardless.
It also comes at a time the state is asking you to pay more. This session, lawmakers passing $1.6 billion in new taxes and fees.
It's amazing because state officials all ask taxpayers and consumers to sacrifice first and the state second. And the fact of the matter is the state never sacrifices.
Now, in this case, the state also waived their right to terminate for convenience, making it nearly impossible to break for a better deal later on. Reporting in Baltimore City, Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
Hi, I'm Vincent Hill. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Follow Fox Baltimore on social.
Yeah, man. So, that's what you got going on down there, man. That's what you got going on down there, John, man. We got a good show, though. We're going to jump right over there to what your president talking about. We got good news for y'all on the 60th anniversary of welfare, man. I'm surprised y'all ain't out there dancing in the streets, man. I'm surprised, man. Where's the cookouts and all that like that there? Seriously. Man, this big. Jesus Christ, man. This here is bigger than. Oh, man, I don't think y'all know. Man, y'all supposed to be jumping, hooping, high, dancing in the streets. Man, they gave y'all freedom. Well, not me too. Shit, what the fuck? I'm tripping. Us, I gotta say, man, I don't know what I'm talking about. Shit, I'm one of y'all too. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, I meant to say yes, man. I'm tripping. So anyway, they gave us, freedom before they gave us healthcare. So that should let you know, man, they want you to die. Particularly if you're a baby boom. They make sure there ain't no more baby boom. Y'all wonder why ain't the streets empty and all that. Ain't nobody in the house. Go on. They made sure there won't be no more baby boom. There won't be no more baby boom. Yeah, so we at the 60th anniversary of welfare. I don't see a black party. I don't see a cookout. I don't see a flag or nothing. Nobody put a flag up or nothing. I'm trying to think how profound that is, and like how you get somebody there for. Well, I guess, but just like 60 years ago. And we're not even on European healthcare standards at that, man. They think I'm going to let them trap me into Affordable Care Act, man. It's a shot in the back. When it's in the water, it's in the water, man. Let's get to this AI medical revolution they got going on.
most important. I think, look, I can't say most important, but certainly one of the most, but the most consequential of the bill in the history.
Congress. I call it the great, big, beautiful bill. We call it different names, but it means the same thing. For decades, America's healthcare networks have been overdue for a high-tech upgrade, and that's what we're doing. The existing systems are often slow, costly, and incompatible with one another. But with today's announcement, we take a major step to bring healthcare into the digital age, something that's absolutely vital. You got to do it. Moving from clicks and fax machines into a new era of convenience, profitability, and speed, and frankly, better health for people. Under the leadership of Administrator Oz, we're officially launching the CMS Digital Health Tech Ecosystem to give healthcare providers, insurers, and software companies the tools they need to empower Americans with a 21st century experience on health. The key breakthrough we've made is getting many of the biggest names in the healthcare and technology to agree to industry-wide standards for electronic medical records. All of those great companies that you just heard have gotten together with this group of very brilliant people. I don't know who's more brilliant, them or them. I don't know. Could be them. I hate to tell you. It could very well be them. But I don't know. But the key breakthrough we've made is getting many of the biggest names in care and technology to agree to that those standards of electronic medical records that we talk about and you've heard about for so many years. It's happening. This will allow patients to easily transmit information from one doctor to another, even if they're different networks and using different keeping systems. No matter what system they use, they're all transferable. The new standards will also make it simple for patients to access their own personal health records. I don't want to see mine, please. I don't want to see. I don't know about you. They have all sorts of things, sir. They can tell you exactly what your problem is going to be in 6 years. We can do it. You know, they have all these different things. I don't know if they work or not, but I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it. If they got a problem, I don't want to know about it right now. But it is amazing what they're doing. I don't know. Does it actually work? Can they do that? All right. Well, then I'm glad I said I don't want to know. But thanks to this announcement, healthcare providers across the country will also finally be able to kill the clipboard. It's an expression that's used, capital, with a capital C, kill the clipboard. Instead of filling out the same tedious at every medical appointment, patients will simply be able to grant their doctors access to their records at the push of a button. Just a button and you're all set, and information the doctor needs will be immediately transmitted. The system will be entirely opt-in, and there will be no centralized government-run database, which everyone is always concerned about. I'm less concerned than anybody. I say whatever it is. But people are very, very concerned about the records. They want to keep them very quiet, and that's their choice. I think it's a good thing because it'll be absolutely quiet. Instead, doctors and patients will always remain in control. The benefits to millions of Americans will be enormous. We will save time, we'll save money, and most importantly, we'll save lives. It's just going to make people live longer and be a lot healthier. I think that's really what you're looking to do. And now I'd like to ask Secretary Kennedy to say a few words, followed by David Sachs, Dr. Oz, and Amy Gleason. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I just want to begin by making a comment that is irrelevant to what we're gathered here today to talk about. But I've been coming to this building for 65 years, and I have to say that it's never looked better. I've spent some time in the Oval Office, which really it's been transformed. And I was looking at a picture of the Oval Office the other day when I was there, when I was a kid with my uncle. And, you know, it was extraordinary. It's always extraordinary to go into that sacred space. But I have to say they look kind of drab in the pictures, and they're black and white pictures, but look drab, and it looks the opposite of drab today. And I think, all these portraits, I hope you get a chance to look at them when you go out there, that they were handpicked by the president. Many of them hijacked other agencies that were trying to keep them. My uncle, my aunt, Jackie, who were deeply committed to design, to beauty, and who understood that it's important to have our public building to be beautiful because it inspires us, it elevates the human spirit. It's one of the, it is a template, it's an example, an exemplar for democracy, the releasing through freedoms of the creativity of the human spirit. And this building of all buildings should look beautiful. And under your stewardship, it looks extraordinary today. So thank you, Mr. President, for that. About 3 weeks ago, I met with the Indonesian health minister. And Indonesia today is regarded as the highest flourishing nation on earth. Since 1990, it has increased the lifespan of its women by 8 years, of its men by 9 years. There's no country that has a record like that. Two major innovations that allowed them to achieve that extraordinary outcome. And one of those was to disincentivize people from eating processed foods. Oh, you are paid not to eat processed foods, and you are for eating processed foods. The other innovation that really transformed Asia was allowing people control of their individual health records. He showed me the app that they use that everybody has, and it shows your height, your weight, your blood type, your eye, your cardiac markers, your diabetes markers, your cholesterol, and any kind of individualized treatments that you had. So if you go to a doctor in another town, he doesn't do what we have to do here, is to sit there with a clipboard and a fax machine in order to get your health records. It's available, and it allows them to give better treatment. It also allows you to make better choices over your life. And there's other apps, Yaka in Indonesia, that allow you to choose good foods when you go to the grocery store. So you can turn your app on your phone and you can get full information about those foods. Well, now if you have your medical records, you can get personalized advice. And that app will also give you advice about a better alternative. So we're going to be able to, we met, Dr. Oz and I met with the former Prime Minister Rudd of Australia just before, just after the election during the transition phase. And he, after his retirement as Prime Minister, he held a commission to reorganize the Australian health system. They revolutionized it, and they vastly improved health in Australia. And he said the single thing that he did that was most important to that transition was the transparency that occurs when people, because it gives people the choice over their own health decisions and over their own lives, and it gives them a sense of responsibility and allows them to measure the interventions. If they change their diet, if they change their exercise, it can show you how many steps you took today. It can tell you if your glucose is spiking. And all of that information will now be available to American citizens. 60 years ago today, we passed Medicaid and Medicare in this country. And we have 60 CEOs in this room of these extraordinary companies, some of which the president has mentioned, and have all agreed voluntarily to start sharing information. President Trump, during his first term, passed the interoperability rule. And it was intended to do this for 20 years. The federal government has been trying to do this. Everybody recognizes it's absolutely critical innovation for us advancing the health of American citizens, to give them responsibility and to give them control over their own care choices. And unfortunately, we ran out of time last time around. President Trump gave us instructions that he wanted this to happen within 6 months. We barely made it under the wire thanks to Dr. Oz's leadership. And within 6 months, every American's going to be doing it thanks to the cooperation of the corporate leaders in this room. You know, about 3 months ago, I met with the food executives and I asked them to voluntarily come forward and get rid of food dyes, of the 9 synthetic petroleum dyes. And this is something, again, the government, Democrat, Republicans have been trying to do for 20 years. And the industry came forward, and 40% of the food industry in this country has taken the pledge to remove food dyes from all of their foods. That happened because of your leadership, Mr. President. A month ago, we got, after a lot of work by Chris Klump and Dr. Oz and a lot of other people in our agency, we got all the insurance executives to come together in our country and in our offices and agree to get rid of pre-authorization for 80% of the DSM codes. This is a voluntary agreement. 80% of the industry has now agreed to do that. So this is happening because of good leadership. President Trump, you've asked us to think big. You've inspired us to dream big, and you've enabled us to accomplish things that no other president has been able to do. So I want to thank you for your leadership, for allowing this to happen. And with your leadership, we're going to make America healthy again. Now I want to introduce my friend, my colleague, the crypto czar, the acting administrator of Doge, David Sachs.
Thank you, Secretary Kennedy. I recently got a text message from a friend whose wife has been suffering from a chronic illness for something like a decade, and they've been trying to figure out what it is. They've never been able to figure it out. And I just want to read this right off my phone. He said, I uploaded my wife's blood work into one of our leading AI engines on Friday. It essentially diagnosed her as having a rare genetic defect that causes bone marrow failure. It's caused every single thing that's happened to her. She has every single symptom. It started at exactly the same age of presentation. It's 10 people out of 1 million. There's absolutely no way this is not it. So, wow, it's really an incredible example of what AI is already able to do just today, and we're just getting started. And this was one person putting his wife's data in, one of our consumer AI apps, and he's already been able to get that diagnosis, and that's going to help them tremendously. The key is the data, because the more data that AI has, the better it performs. And so to Dr. Oz, Secretary Kennedy, for this pledge today, they were able to get 60 major companies across different sectors of the economy to agree to unlock their data so that AI can use it to drive better patient outcomes. And this is, all due to your leadership and President Trump's leadership to put American people's healthcare needs first. And I remember Dr. Oz, he was one of the first people to call me during the transition when the president announced I'd be AI czar, because he wanted to ask me about how AI could better be used in healthcare. So kudos to you, Dr. Oz. Your passion is really incredible. And kudos to you, Secretary Kennedy, your passion as well. And I remember a couple of years ago, I was a big fan of Bobby Kennedy when he was running as a Democrat. And I remember thinking,
gave a lot more money than President Trump.
Well, I remember thinking there's just one problem with Bobby Kennedy. He's not a Republican, but thanks to President Trump, I think we fixed that. So, and I think that getting people like Dr. Oz and Bobby Kennedy into nation is a testament to President Trump and the talent that he's able to attract and pull together, and the partnerships that he's able to forge. Be doing other things. So it's really a testament to the great talent that President Trump always today's pledge by these companies is going to tear down barriers, both startups and established firms, to compete freely. We're opening up the playing field so that the best tools can scale, compete on value, and discover new methods for making Americans healthy again. Technologies like AI, they do things like they will expand access to care, cut administrative costs, reduce fraud, and deliver better results for patients and doctors. And I want to thank you, President Trump, for your promise to not only make Americans healthy again, but also to ensure that America is the predominant AI superpower. Just last week, you announced a major AI action plan with hundreds of billions of dollars, new investment in AI infrastructure, and also getting red tape out of the way that we can be the leading country in AI. And it's these life-saving applications that are going to be built on top of all of that infrastructure. So thank you for your leadership in making the United States the -- 1 country in AI.
Dave, thank you.
And now,
Mr. President, today we are making American health technology remarkably great again. We've always been at the leadership. David's right. I called him on after the president offered me the position, him as well. And we began brainstorming on this. Secretary Kennedy from day one appreciated the crisis that we're in and how we needed to address it. So today is a remarkably important day, one that you will remember, I believe, for years to come for 3 reasons. Yes, it is the 60th birthday of Medicare and Medicaid. The first patient, by the way, was Harry S. Truman. Although Lyndon Johnson signed the legislation 60 years ago today, not far from here. It is not just the ability to bring 60 of the top incumbents and insurgents in health technology, hospital systems, insurance companies, electronic medical record companies, AI companies, the big players. You're all here, and we appreciate that very much. But Mr. President, you used the power to convene. That's fundamentally what I think the president has been able to offer us. And Secretary Kennedy offered us as a group some examples, but there are more to come. And I want to touch on some of these. But first, I've got to do what doctors often have to do, which is to tell you the truth, even if you don't want to hear it. Goes. These beautiful programs, which are the backbone of the social work, the social support system of this country, the safety net, they're flailing. They're flailing for a bunch of reasons. Medicaid is a unique entity. It has deviated from its original purpose by drift and by design. The One Big Beautiful Bill, the OB3 law, was elegant for that very reason. And President, I don't know if you remember this, I can share this, but he called me once and he was upset at me because I was going too strident at something. And he said, this is about fraud, waste, and abuse. That's what we're interested in doing. And that's exactly what the One Big Beautiful Bill accomplished. And it especially did it to save Medicaid by putting $200 billion more dollars into it and allocating funds very specifically to use to support rural America. And primarily, some of that money will be used to support digital infrastructure, which is terribly lacking in many parts of the country. The money that's sent from Washington doesn't get to rural America. About 7% of Medicaid dollars get to rural hospitals. We now have an ability to infuse funds through this $50 billion rural health transformation fund into that system. The gathering today is another example of how we can actually jumpstart that and accelerate it. The other reality is COVID system. It did for many reasons. Medicaid expenses went up 50% in 5 years. Medicare, the trust fund that we met at actually Treasury with Secretary Bessent and Secretary Kennedy as trustees, it goes bankrupt in 2033. And that is actually a conservative estimate. It could go bankrupt as early as 2029. Thankfully, due to the economy, that's not going to happen. But we don't want to have to take that risk, and there's some fundamental changes we need to make accordingly. Now, there's one other big reality about making the system more efficient, which is why what everyone here is talking about is so critical. And let's just pick an average American born in 1964. That average American born in 64 will retire this year at age 61. If just that one group of people born in 64 could work 3 years longer because they're healthy, because they feel like they want to do it, because they feel vital and vigorous, and they're flourishing, just that 1 year working longer is $1 trillion to the U.S. GDP, and is $300 billion of tax revenue to pay for a lot of the problems that people are concerned about. So it's not just keeping people out of the hospital, getting them to thrive and flourish that makes what we're doing so critical today. I think there are a lot of realities to how healthcare has gone. Unfortunately, the system is frozen, and it has been for many reasons, despite the first administration. It's frozen in time, so it cannot address the quality lags that exist. While Netflix and Airbnb and Uber drivers are racing ahead, making arrangements, identifying the problems that are challenging us in healthcare become incredibly difficult. You can't make appointments. The average Americans are tired. They're tired of waiting for a doctor's appointment. They're tired of waiting for the surprise of what your hospital bill is going to offer. That's being addressed by one of the president's executive orders. They're tired of waiting for access to their medical. You own your medical records. They're yours. Why you can't have access to them is this reality in modern day America. They're also tired of waiting for Washington to take action. And this president early on emphatically stated that wasn't going to happen anymore. And today we made that vision to a reality. And there's a fine line between vision and hallucination. What you did today was show it's a vision because you share it with us and we're moving ahead on it. And that's what today's commitments essentially are reflecting. And they are pledges. They're not laws. They're nimble and they're fast and they're quick because understands that each of you in your own way understand these needs. And Secretary Kent spoke beautifully about the reality of what happens when you actually have electronic records, because what is happening in Indonesia will have here. Within a year on your device, and 91% of Medicaid patients have smartphones. On this device, you'll get insights if you want. You don't have to take this, but if you desire, Amy Gleason is one of the smartest I've ever worked with, has built a mechanism to be able to get you that information in a way with his partners helping, so that you can get nudged to pay attention to what you're eating and avoid processed foods. The Secretary Kennedy smartly and wisely highlighted is so dangerous to our well-being. All this, by the way, is that will be at the tips. In addition, advice about which doctor to see, when to go see them, nudges, reminding you why I didn't do certain things. If you're a doctor like me, it's a very different story. It's to help you navigate the system better. It's giving you advice, decision support, which is becoming increasingly important as medicine gets difficult. But I'll tell you the best thing of all, how many of you have been with your doctor telling them something heartfelt, very emotional, and they're looking to the side, typing into their computer, right? It's common. Put your hand up. Most everybody. That's unfortunate because the whole sacrament, the whole covenant of being with the doctor is having them look you in the eyes and realize you're there for each other. That process is going to go away. We will, within the workflow of doctors, be able, with your help, allow physicians to take care of patients, gather the information while doing it, and will destroy the upcoding that has hurt Medicare Advantage and other programs alike in a similar fashion. The IT infrastructure that's going to change promises improve a lot of things. We're going to cut fraud, waste, and abuse. Mr. President, we announced with the DOJ 2 weeks ago a $15 billion bust. $15 billion. It's a multinational criminal syndicate based primarily, we believe, in the Soviet Union, Russia. And what they did was using beneficiary numbers into the system. We'll be able to stop that because of a system that Amy has put together and the wonderful work of Amy Brandt, who has a fraud war room using this kind of technology, because we'll know who you are and who your doctor is. We can block this. We're going to have remarkable advances in how consumers can use their own records. We'll have beneficiaries be able to get MAHA advice and prevention tips and even be able to nudge them and reward them perhaps for that. And all this comes back to one fundamental issue, Mr. President, which is leadership. I think 60 people, the biggest, the best, the willing, came forward because of your leadership, because you weren't going to take no for an answer, and they know it. We are building a robust and safe, I emphasize that, safe system. It's going to protect the data better than we could have imagined. We're going to be able to accomplish goals that all of us wished from day one that would be in place. These pledges are now confirmed. They're signed in public. You have therefore empowered Americans to own their property, which is their medical records. Let me introduce Amy Gleason. She is acting director of DOJ, U.S. Digital Service as well, and was actually the brilliant woman who pulled together the pieces of this puzzle with three members of the audience. Amy Gleason.
Good afternoon. First, I would like to thank President Trump for his leadership in this area, and Secretary Kennedy and Administrator Oz for driving this work with clarity and urgency. I would also like to thank my colleagues who've been instrumental to this, and we've worked a lot of nights and hard times on this, and it would not have been possible without them. I want to start today with my daughter Morgan, who's here in the audience. If you please stand up. I am so inspired and energized by your strength every day. And we also have two other patients here, Randy and Tom, who have been very inspiring. Thank you for being here today. You're why this all matters. Let me start talking about my daughter's history. So 15 years ago, she was diagnosed with a rare disease. She was 11 years old, and she started showing mysterious symptoms. Over the last year and a half after that, she saw the country's best doctors, but she still continued to get worse. At some point, she couldn't stand up off the floor or walk up the stairs, and we still had no answers. I carried a binder of paper records to every doctor's appointment so that I could keep them aligned. And I truly believe that if one of those doctors had been able to see her whole history, they would have diagnosed her faster. And if we had just had today's AI, then they could have connected the dots that the humans missed. Today, Morgan takes 21 pills a day, gets 2 infusions a month, over 40 patient portals. Her disease is very rare, but her experience, it's very common. And that is what we're here to fix today. Too many patients are forced to remember all the doctors that they've been to and log into portal after portal, repeating their story at every visit. And they don't have the digital tools to help them stay well. Meanwhile, every other part of our life is digital. I can order groceries and have them delivered in minutes. I get personalized recommendations on my other apps. But in healthcare, we still see it on paper and manual situations. But today, thanks to President Trump, we're changing that. Over 15 years, we've tried to our way to a better outcome. And we have gotten a path forward, but they haven't delivered the modern healthcare experience that Americans expect and deserve. I'm so proud today that these 60 companies have voluntarily stepped forward to make a pledge, to take action, and to join us to say, we're ready. Let's fix this. We're in. We're trying something different. It's not regulation or rulemaking. This is a voluntary alignment around a shared vision, a commitment to work across boundaries, across competitors, and across silos. We're bringing together data sharing networks, electronic medical records, doctors, health systems, payers, and app developers. And we're asking one simple question. What can we do right now to make this work for patients? The companies we're pledging today are agreeing to agree, even with their direct competitors, because they know we can't keep kicking the can down the road. We have to stop talking about data interoperability and make the data flow. Here's something important. Not all patients will want these tools. Some will rely on their caregivers, and others will rely on their doctors, so they don't have to carry it themselves. But no matter how people engage, we must make sure it works for everyone. CMS is doing its part. We're clearing the path for innovation by building the overdue National Provider Directory, a kind of digital map for healthcare that connects systems in real time and helps patients get more coordinated care. We're also using Medicare.gov to feel more seamless and smart like other apps we use. But the government can't do this and shouldn't do it alone. These tools we need to make daily decisions must come from the private sector, and that's why this is so important. So let me tell you what this might look like after our collaborative effort. Morgan, in 6 months from now, might show up to her doctor's appointment. Instead of filling out a clipboard with her 21 medications, 12 doctors, and her entire medical history, pull out her phone and tap or scan a QR code and seamlessly transfer her digital insurance card, her verified medical record, and a digital summary for provider get up to speed faster. We call this killing clipboard, as President Trump said. After the visit, Morgan opens her AI assistant, a tool that she has authorized to access her records, and asks, what did the doctor say today? What did these results mean? What should I watch for? And the assistant responds using her actual health history, explains her care plan in plain language, helps her track her symptoms, and even schedules follow-up visits if she needs them. And lastly, she has a new favorite app that helps her manage her chronic condition. Because for years, Morgan has said what other patients say, I only see a doctor a year, but I live with this disease every day. Today, we're starting with apps that can support patients 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world. They don't replace doctors. They just fill in the gap between visits so that care is continuous and not episodic. So what makes this effort different? Today, we have all these apps that want to provide these services, but they can't get the data because it is so hard for people to access their records. But today, we have 18 network companies who are here pledging to fix the infrastructure that makes this possible. They're doing this through modern data sharing networks that removes the burden on patients and providers. It makes it available in real time using modern identity, just like when you check in at the airport. These honor patient privacy and transparency. And most importantly, it's a movement to work together to remove the friction that's holding us back. Because access to information shouldn't be a luxury. It should be a standard. So for all the Morgans out there, come join this movement with us at cms.gov. Let's kill the clipboard and axe the facts. Let's help make health tech great again. Or in this case, maybe it's for the first time. Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you very much. That was great. Hello. You look very, very healthy to me. You look really great. So just, I want to thank all of the companies that are here. These are big names, great people. And now you're doing something that's important for our country, really for the world. It's beyond our country, I suspect. It's really world.
Yeah.
So just keep it up. And you've hit new almost virtually every day for the last few months. And that makes your job probably a little bit easier. You're under.
AI medical revolution, man. So, like I told you, you ain't gonna get this nowhere else. Put on a clinic, master clinic on keeping records. Huh? Yeah, so you heard all that stuff Dr. Fauci was saying. It's like that they're supposed to get your records and all that. Now they're on universal system so that everything flow. The medical records, they got the insurance company. 80% of them to say no more, ain't no more pre-qualifications. You know, that mean like you got insurance, but they still gotta give you a referral. I'll pay you for this. I got the W2. I pay for my food. I told y'all, man. It's the 60th anniversary of welfare, man. We're only one generation removed. And Obama did a dirty move, man. Did a dirty move with that job, man. So most of our kids, they probably in positions of working for jobs or whatever, where their jobs provide them for healthcare coverage. So we didn't even get like one generation out of that job. Before that job would say give it to everybody, man. Man, they gave us freedom before they gave us healthcare, man. And you know, y'all should be out there dancing in the streets. Out parties and all that like that there. But I don't know about topic, but I'm gonna show y'all the demonstration though. I gotta give y'all a demonstration. I always gotta take y'all to school, so we're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to do something where we're gonna have to go over the records. Because they asked me how I could help them, man. Put me in the system. I put my paperwork in the system. Let me see if Oracle and all them, like that there and all them technology companies that's giving them like a taxpayer a bang for their buck. Let's see if you're right. I'm gonna help you. We're gonna take the paperwork and we're gonna put it in the system. Put it in the system. Let's see if the taxpayer, let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. Let me see. You said, hold up. If you said right here, you said right here, you said CMS Digital. And then you said CMS Digital is in charge of the contract now. Now this CMS Medicaid Drug Integrity contract right here, so they went digital, so maybe it's the same people. But yeah, I'll contact them. Reason call the payment there, $1 I'll contact them, put me in the system. I'll contact them. Put me in the system. Yep. Yeah, contact them and put me in the system. Told y'all I'm putting on a clinic. You ain't gonna get this nowhere else. I don't get the CMS Digital got the contract. Put me in the system and I already contact y'all. Let's see if the American taxpayer getting what they paid for. Those companies. Let's see if they're getting what they paid for. Put me in the system. Put me in the system. Let's take a look at this. I don't think I've seen this before. I think you never seen this before. Take a look at it though. Let's see if I can share this with y'all. Let's say on December 18, 2023, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office for Civil Rights, Mid-Atlantic Region, received your most recent complaint against Kaiser Permanente and the Maryland Department. OCR notes you have filed 48 complaints against Kaiser Permanente. You heard that number, man? Did you hear the number, man? 48 complaints. This Health and Human Service, this RFK office right here, man. Yeah, 48 complaints to them, man. Put mine in the system, man. OCR enforces federal civil rights laws, which prohibit discrimination in delivery of health and human services because of race, color, national origin, disability, age, sex, religion, and the exercise of conscience, and also enforces the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA. Remember how this was breaking that down on y'all? Man, and breach notification rules, right? See that there? Remember I was telling you about HIPAA? Based upon review of your correspondence, we determined the OCR will not investigate your complaint. 48 times. This ain't even gonna investigate, Joe. This RFK department. Put me in the system. Let's see if it works. Your complaint does not contain allegations of discrimination. Like you, man, you get what do you mean? Which will fall under any civil rights law enforced by OCR, nor have your alleged violations of HIPAA that has not already been addressed by OCR. We are closing your complaint and will take no further action regarding the issues you have raised. Check this out. Furthermore, please note that due to the high volume of repetitive complaints that you have filed with OCR, new complaints and additional correspondence submitted to this office that relate to your previously submitted matters will be placed in your closed case files and not be reviewed or addressed by this office. Man, this lady right here, Jamie R. Bailey, regional manager. Man, if she's still working there, man, if she's still working there, man, I ain't gonna hold you, man. Yeah. 48 times, man. Put my paperwork in the system. They say you got a right to your records and all that. That's what they told me. That's what y'all just heard them say. Man, they've been out there for years, man. And they know it. And they flat out know it. They flat out even know it. Systematically done. Did not. They say, I could have my records. Put me in the system. If that AI work, if it work, put me in there. Got my records sealed for 3 years. I don't get some due process. I can't appeal, I can't. But this is the thing I told you I'm putting on a clinic, right, for keeping records. I don't need them now to seal these records for me to identify perpetrators of these acts on me. I don't dumb now to seal the records. Now I need them to enforce the law. They won't even let me in the FBI. Yeah. No, they already got the information. Let's see if the new AI stuff, the AI medical revolution really works. Let's see if the taxpayers getting what they paid for. You say how you want you looking for some help. Somebody out there see this video, give it to the young lady and Rob K. Then I work for the government, I ain't lawyer. They put the cake, put it in there, let's see. Because somebody should be going to jail. Matter of fact, it should be somebody that if it really worked. Yeah, man, let's get right to that. If this how you gonna know if it work, somebody should be in jail Monday morning. You should pick this right up. They already got it on file. Yeah, they already got it on file. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got it on file. So the AI situation really worked. Because AI ain't figured this out. Not for me. I did the full circuit way, the due diligence. Yeah, I ain't used the AI. I had to do but that's the beauty of the AI. Once you put it in there, it say it could diagnose it. It say it could diagnose. Somebody should be going to jail right now. If this thing works, if the citizen is getting a banker as he got Oracle and he got all them people in there. And I told you I had already contacted CMS. I contacted them like 2 or 3 times. If they just put that in the file, somebody should be getting locked up on Monday. When you see, I contacted Health and Human Services, that's 48 times. So if the thing works, if the AI medical revolution truly works, somebody should, man, they should be packing up there trying to get up all the time right now. There should be some doctors probably like, so if that thing works, man, there should be some vacancy, man. There should be some shortage around up there because they paid that paperwork. Y'all see that right here. That's why I told you, I'm putting on a master clinic on record keeping. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got this at 12:21 p.m. August 15. So, like that there, man, if this thing works, man, somebody should be in jail about money. Yeah. Because it could diagnose somebody that they got some rare disease and the girl child was on like a lot of medications and she got to get 2 other things or something. A lot of stuff going on, rare disease. It pick up on it right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So somebody should be going to jail on if this thing works. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 60th anniversary of welfare. The AI revolution. So, I mean, some of the stuff, then, I don't know if y'all heard, Obama had the people come over here so much, they said the joint might have to be bankrupt by the 2033. If Trump don't get this economy, get the money going back the right way. But I thought y'all be out there dancing in the street, cooking out, barbecuing and everything. All y'all voted for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the criminal theory, right? Boy, that I don't blame y'all. Obama really y'all got to stop it, man. These running the same play, man, without no discretion, man. Real talk, man. I ain't gonna hold. I've been woke though on that jump. They talking about woke with all that little foolishness. Yeah, man. So I tell them put them in the system. Yeah. I already contacted CMS. I've done that. So they put me in the system. Right? Mm-hmm. But before I leave y'all, I don't know what I'm gonna get y'all tomorrow, man. I told y'all I might get y'all something on Kaiser. I might do like a weekend special. It's like more like in depth about some of the other stuff that be going on with demonstrations that be around it. But in any event, man, I gotta get y'all my crime is down segment before I go. But man, if the AI situation worked and all that like that there, somebody should be in cover of money. Somebody should be in cover. I didn't contact the people I showed y'all. I come, they say these people out here is in charge of the job. CMS Digital. If you go back and you listen to you revisit the video of the broadcast again, he gonna say this right here. He gonna say these people right here updated their jump. These folk right here. CMS, the Medicare Integrity, the Drug Medicare Integrity Contract. Now it's a CMS Digital, right? Because everything going there, yeah. But if they just go on and put their records in there, right? That's how you know this work. I'm gonna definitely, man, you don't think, man, you don't think I'm gonna be all over me like a cheap sheep, man. I want to see, yeah, somebody should be in custody on Monday, man, because he said he can diagnose that rare disease like that. And he said some seconds or something. Yeah. So this company just alone put their records in there. Somebody should be in jail by Monday, man. Hey, I told y'all I put on a clinic on record keep. Nah, man. This is shocking. Hey, let me get to my I gotta give me 1 second. I gotta line this up. My crime. The crime is down segment. Let me line that up for y'all. Yeah, the crime is down segment. I should have had this. Y'all got bear with me as I navigate myself way through some of this stuff. But yeah, my crime is down segment. We're gonna look at this. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this and then we're gonna get on up out of here. Take a look at this.
As Walter Reed Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland is under lockdown as a suspect with a fake gun is in custody at this hour after reports of an active shooter at Walter. So we're getting new information into our studio right here at Live Now Fox as you're taking a live aerial look at where all of this. According to our Fox 5 DC team, a suspect is in custody with a fake gun after officials responded to reports of an active shooter at Walter Reed Medical Center. Officers were dispatched at around 10:24 a.m. Eastern Time in the 8900 block of Rockville Pike for the report of an active shooter. That is according to the Montgomery County Department of Police. They go on to say that the subject is in custody and was armed with a fake gun. They say there is no threat to the community and the scene is secure. But from this aerial view, a number of vehicles right here where the center is still under lockdown as a precautionary measure. Officials say that reports of an active shooter were in the area of Building 10. So if you're familiar with Walter Reed Medical Center specifically, there were reports of the active shooter in the area of Building 10. At this hour, Walter Reed Medical Center is under lockdown. All gates are closed to non-emergency vehicles, and all personnel have been directed to remain in place until further. I do want to stress right now that according to police, there is no threat to the community and the scene is secure. So as to who this is, that still remains unknown, as this is breaking news. We don't know who this person was who is now in custody with a fake gun, sort of connection perhaps that they might have with Walter Reed Medical Center. But at this hour, we do want to share with you that a suspect custody with a fake gun after officials responded to reports of an active shooter at Walter Reed Medical Center. All of this unfolding, according to the Montgomery County Department of Police, at around 10:24 a.m. There is no threat to the community and the scene is secure, as all of the gates now are closed to non-emergency vehicles, and all personnel have been directed to remain in place until further notice. At this hour, we don't have any word as to whether police plan to provide a statement or a media briefing on the incident, but we did want to share that with you as we are getting this into our newsroom right now. We're going to monitor this breaking news situation and bring you any updates as they happen.
This just in, it's in Southern Virginia. We're getting word of a horrific attack. A city council member was set on fire inside of his office. Where a local magazine. This is. Am I reading this right? So
he works in a local magazine.
Yeah, he's at a local magazine. That's the office where this happened. Okay, and where he works. The 38-year-old Lee Vogler is a city councilman in Danville, Virginia. South of Roanoke, police say the suspect entered into the victim's office and then doused him with flammable liquid. The victim and the suspect then exited the building, where the suspect then set the victim on fire. Just horrific details we're learning. And right now, the extent of Vogler's injuries are unknown, and the suspect is in custody. Trace, it looks like the first phone calls came into police around 11:30 a.m., and they were dispatched to the scene there of a male set on fire. He's been airlifted to a regional medical facility for treatment. The full extent of his injuries is still not known at this time. Just awful.
That's a man, the crime segment for the day. Jeez, put the man on fire like that there, man. Put the man on fire like that there. See, I work with that patrolman and stuff like that there, man. Gotta know your stuff. Well, that's it for tonight. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification button. Man, I'm gonna stay on there, man. You gotta put me in the system, man. I ain't going nowhere, and I want my money. Talk to y'all later.